Welcome to Proaktiv Trainer Academy. My name is Mark Cosgrove. We created the Proaktiv Trainer Academy because we want to transform the way people think about learning and development in the 21st century. We live in a world of chaos and complexity and a constant battle to stay ahead of the disruptions and the challenges that the world is throwing at us right now. And that's going to require something from trainers. It's going to require a whole new level of inventiveness and interactivity as we seek to engage the eyeballs and the minds of our participants who have ever-increasing demands on their attention. So how do we do that? Well, we've taken more than 25 years of experience with hundreds of clients and tens of thousands of hours of training experience with our participants. And we've created a program to give trainers the ability to do what's necessary to continue to make the real world impact. For that 25 plus years, Proaktiv have been living up to their name. We've been proactively engaged with our clients, with participants, and with the world around us to make sure that we're creating the kinds of programs using the kinds of methodologies that are going to deliver impact for our clients. And that's what we've put into the Proaktiv Trainer Academy. Let's put it this way. We've seen enough average training, but the reality is what was good enough a while ago simply isn't good enough anymore. And so we as trainers have to step up. This program is designed to allow already good trainers to become great lead facilitators. And if you're an articulate, passionate, intelligent person and you see learning and development as your next career move, then this program is going to allow you to really understand the fundamental skills necessary to be a great trainer. We've been at the forefront leading this whole time. Proaktiv Training created one of the world's first online blended learning programs more than 14 years ago. So join us today for the Proaktiv Trainer Academy. It's your opportunity to move from being a good trainer to being truly proactive. The Proaktiv Trainer Academy is a 12-module program. It can be delivered online, spread out over 12 weeks, or can be delivered back-to-back in a training room spread out over 4 days. In either case, it's an opportunity for you to get up on your feet and really practice and work hard at acquiring the skills necessary to be an exceptional trainer. So 10% of the time, knowledge transfer. We'll be telling you stuff. We'll give you material and content so you can understand what we're talking about. 20% of the time, we'll be engaged in discussions with each other, really wrestling with the concepts and ideas, trying to understand them, deepen the knowledge that we bring to them. But 70% of the time, you're going to be doing something, whether that's on the sessions or between the sessions. You'll be getting up on your feet and trying out the skills, and then debriefing yourself and looking at, okay, what worked, what didn't work, and what more do I need to close the gap between where I am today and where my vision of myself as a trainer tells me that I need to be. So let's talk about the program itself. So in session 1, we're going to start the program exactly where we start a lot of the programs we run, which is giving the participants an opportunity to create a vision for themselves. So where do they want to be? So with the Proaktiv Trainer Academy, you're going to create a trainer vision. We're going to look at the skills, knowledge, and abilities that are required to be the kind of trainer you want to be. And then we're going to look at the gap. Where are you today? Where do you need to be at the end of the program and even beyond that? And so you're going to work to create that vision and identify the gap so you have a training plan for yourself over the subsequent 12 weeks. In session 2, we're going to dive even deeper into defining an exceptional trainer. We're going to look at the difference between teaching and training. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about adult education methodology. And then we're going to look at something that we call the triangle of power. So when you walk into a training room, you're there, your personality, who you are, what you bring into the space. There's the methodology and the content. And these are 3 incredibly important elements to really help you become a great trainer and to deliver exceptional training. And what we're also going to do is we're going to start to talk about some of the experiences that we've had, either as a trainer or a participant, when we've seen very, very good training or very, very bad training. We'll start to look at how do we tell a story that illustrates the point we're trying to make. In session 3, we're going to continue with storytelling. See, storytelling is an incredibly critical skill for any trainer. It's how we provide context and illustrate a point we're trying to make and bring the information that we're there to tell people about to life. So we'll talk about structure, about content, about how to deliver it, what to say, what not to say, and how to really be good at storytelling. And from this session right to the end of the program, all the participants are going to be required to come in with a story they can tell. We really want to hone our skills as storytellers, and be able to do it quickly and easily and seamlessly, so that our participants get the benefit of all the experience we have when they're with us in a training room. In session 4, we're going to start with one of a number of different modules on active facilitation, because facilitation really is the number one skill of any trainer. So what we'll do in this session is we'll look at how do we ask questions in a way that makes sense, that drives up the people's understanding of a topic, that gets them really engaged. How do we listen for the answers so that we're really pivoting our next question off the information that the participants are giving us? And then how do we set up activities? It's a very practical skill, but how do we get people to do what we need them to do quickly and efficiently so that they can get right to work? After this session, you're going to pick a topic that you're familiar with, and you're going to prepare a short facilitation that you're going to do in the next session. This is an opportunity for you to get on your feet and really practice those facilitation skills that we're learning in session 4. Session 5 is called transformation. In the world of soft skills training, what we're training people in is less about how to do something, although we do that, but it's more focused on why they do it, what's in it for them, what they need to change or shift or transform about who they are that's going to allow them to master the thing we're trying to tell them to do. And that transformation requires that we understand emotion, ego, and the role that people's resistance to change plays in how hard it is for us to train them. We're really going to focus in on these elements and understand the dynamics that are going on in a training room. As well, we'll see the role that emotion plays in that resistance. So you're going to do your facilitation from last week. You're going to have an opportunity to see what it feels like to be a trainer and to maybe deal with a little bit of resistance from the participants in your program. And then we'll debrief it from there. Session 6 is the second session we're going to do on active facilitation. And this is an opportunity to focus in on two seemingly innocuous parts of your presentation as a trainer, but which are critical. That's opening and closing. You see, all of that resistance, all of that desire that people had from last week, that why should I change? Why should I do what you're telling me to do? You start to deal with that in your opening. You help people see why what you're about to train them on is critical. It's something they need and something they want. And a closing, well, imagine all those ideas, all those skills and abilities you've taught them. Everything's kind of floating around, those ideas and concepts. Your closing is the opportunity you have to kind of put it all in a package and wrap it up with a bow and present it to them so that they go back to work tomorrow and they do something different and produce a different result. So openings and closings are a really critical part of your job as a facilitator and a trainer, and that's what we're going to work on in session 6. In session 7, we're going to continue diving into active facilitation skills. We're going to look at bridging. Bridging is the skill of going from one topic to another in a way that makes sense, that connects them. So your whole training, whether it's 2 hours or 3 days or 8 days long, has to be connected. There has to be a single through line in the entire thing. Otherwise, it's disjointed and strange, and it doesn't make any sense to the participants, and it doesn't work. So we're going to look at bridging from one topic to another. We're going to look at how do we give out assignments? How do we sell the value of the assignment to the participants? And then how do we give the instructions so that they're clear and people come back having done what you wanted them to do? We'll also look at summarizing, which is different from a closing, which we talked about last time. But how do we summarize something and get people to really understand the concept and content we've just given them? And then finally, giving feedback. How do we deliver feedback to the participants in our programs so that they improve, they get better, they can see what they need to see? So how do we do that in a way that's quick, on point, and can move the whole conversation forward? So again, 4 really critical skills that we'll be looking at in this session. Powerful coaching for immediate change. One of the best and most effective ways to move people forward in our programs and help them understand what we're trying to get them to see is through coaching. Now, it's different from sports coaching or executive coaching. It requires us to interrupt people very delicately and very lightly, redirect them so that they can see some insight, they can practice and be better at something than they were before. So what we'll do in this session is we're going to focus on coaching each other. We're going to have an opportunity, one person presents and the other person coaches. It's an opportunity for us to really see the powerful but subtle ways in which we can help shift people's behaviors and insights and get them to something more important. In the 4th session on active facilitation, we're going to look at I think the most important question you can ever ask. So when we're getting people to answer questions in a facilitation, it's not just factual stuff we're trying to get people to. We're trying to get them to fundamentally answer the question, why? So if we're doing a session on, I don't know, leadership, and we ask the question, name the attributes of a great leader, we'll get a bunch of words. But the more important answer is going to be, why? Why do you think that's what makes a great leader? Why do you think that's important? Why do you think other people don't agree with you, or they do agree with you? So the why. So this whole session is going to be on how do you get to the real reason why. So it's a real deep dive discussion into the shortest question you can ask, which can bring you the most profound and fundamental answers that people are going to give you. Session 10 is called Presentainment. Our job as a trainer is not to be a comedian or to hog the spotlight at the front of the room. It's to create an environment inside of which people can have a transformational, hopefully, training experience. But they won't do that if they're bored. And they won't do it with you unless they find something compelling or interesting about who you are. So this session is about how do we balance presentation and entertainment, and how do we make an impression but don't hog the spotlight? How do we be a commanding presence so that people listen and respect us and do what we're asking them to do, but not to dominate or become the focal point? And it's a really fine balance, and it's one we're going to focus on in session 10. As we get towards the end of the program, we have to start talking about something really critical, from the page to the stage. What that means is, how do we take a training manual and turn it into a program that's compelling and interesting and that people want to spend time doing? If you've seen a training manual, you know they're not the most compelling documents. You know, they're filled with technical information and things you need to know as a trainer. But how do you translate this into something that people want to spend 3 days doing? So being able to take that trainer's manual and turn it into something energetic and unique and three-dimensional, it's a particular skill of its own. So in this module, you're going to have an opportunity to learn how to do that. You're going to get some training material, and it's going to be up to you to do it, so that we get to see you go from the page to the stage. More often than not, the most important person in the room when you're delivering training isn't even in the room. It's the client. The person who paid for the training, the person whose idea this was, may not be a participant in the training you're delivering. So how do you make sure that their perspective and needs and desires are represented in the training that you do? So we have to understand our participants, of course, but we also have to understand the companies they work for, the industry they're in, the culture they're part of, the global organization that they call home, to really truly bring all of that into the room and deliver training that's going to create an impact for them here today. We created Proaktiv Trainer Academy for two groups of people. If you're already a trainer, but you know to stay ahead of the curve and be ready for whatever disruption hits our industry next, that you know you need to get better, this is a good program for you. Or if you're someone who's at a career transition move, maybe you've had that first career and now you want to move into learning and development as a way to show other people what you've learned, then this works for you too. If you're passionate, articulate, and intelligent, you want to become an exceptional lead trainer or master trainer, this is the program. Now, you could learn a lot of this stuff through trial and error. Sure, you could go out and deliver hundreds or thousands of hours of training, make all the mistakes, figure out what you did wrong, and improve your performance. Or you could take a shortcut. You could take the Proaktiv Trainer Academy. So if you're somebody who right now wants to become an exceptional lead trainer or master trainer, please scan this QR code and find out more and apply to be part of the next cohort of the Proaktiv Trainer Academy.